Hi everyone, my name is Siobhan Camille and I run Greenstone Belly Dance. This is a breakdown of how I do my belly rolls. So just to be clear, my terminology, a belly roll is something that is muscular, so the spine doesn't move, and an undulation, or what's called a camel, I tend to always combine both. So I'm not just doing something spinal, I'm adding this isolated belly roll on top. It's important to note that no move is ever just spinal or skeletal. If you are moving, it is a result of muscles pulling on bones. So it's more like I'm actively choosing to layer this manipulated belly roll on top of my spinal undulation, even though it's never purely spinal, okay? So I get a lot of questions about how I do my belly roll. I think of it like this. Your rectus abdominis, or your six pack, that's what the muscle is really long. So it starts up here and it attaches down here on the pubic bone. So if you're practicing this, I highly recommend you're either wearing low-waisted pants like this, or you roll your waistband down, or you have like a really flexy waistband on. Because if you've got one of those like high-waisted training sets that really pushes everything in, it's a little bit harder to feel it all. So the first thing I start off with is finding my neutral spine. So make sure your knees are soft, because if your knees are locked, you're so much more likely to be arching in that low back as well. And if we're arching in the low back, the front of the body is stretched, so it's much harder to contract it. So soft knees, neutral spine, okay? So neutral is not here and it's not here, it's somewhere in the middle, okay? So then the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put one hand on the top part of the rectus abdominis and one hand on the lower part, and I'm gonna try and pull everything in. So it will not pull in like a flat unit, push it out. Now really push it out. But it won't pull in like a flat unit because we have organs. So it's very normal that certain parts will pull in more than others. But I want you to feel that part of it pulls away from your hand. And now when you push it out, that it all pushes into your hand as well. So pull it in, everything pulls in, even if they pull in different amounts or varying amounts. Push out, everything pushes out. Now I feel quite a bit of tension when I push out here. This is not relaxed, this is a push. And that's important later, especially for that lower contraction. So pull in, push away. Pull in, push away. And remember, we're doing this without moving through the spine, okay? So that's the first thing to start off with. Whenever you're doing any belly work, make sure your chin's still high and you've still got nice posture, because sometimes we end up drilling in this position and we don't usually want to dance like that, okay? Then what I personally do, I break my belly roll up into 3 parts. So I think of the upper contraction with the lower part being pushed out. Then I think of the middle contraction, where it's like I'm kind of being sliced in half and these 2 bits are both a little bit contracted because it's the transition point. And then I think of the lower contraction with the upper push, and actually my last thing is a full belly push, okay? So to find the upper, the way I usually teach people is by pursing their lips, making a little circle and blowing out fast. So put your hand there and go. So part of this is your diaphragm, but it also gets a lot of these more superior muscles contracting as well. So what you want to do, you want to go, feel that contraction here. It might drop your chest a little bit. We're going to focus on trying to just pull in rather than dropping the chest. It'll still move a bit. Now, it's not going to work if you go. So really, the other thing you can try is coughing. Okay, so now what I want you to do, we're obviously, when we cough or when we blow out fast, it contracts, releases right away, right? Now I want you to blow out or cough, whatever worked better for you, but hold the contraction. So it's held. So if I were to tap myself here, it's really rock solid. And that might take some time. And again, one more time, hold it. Now try to do it without the blowing or the coughing. So just contract, release, contract, release. And now what you want to do, I know there's a lot and it's moving fast. So if you need to work on any of these previous steps, you work on them. Otherwise, hand on the low belly. I want you to keep the low belly relaxed, pull in the upper part. Now, because I'm pulling in the upper part, it actually pushes my lower out a little bit more because the abdominal contents kind of get squeezed down. Okay, so you can actively think about pushing out the low belly first if you want. Keep it pushed out as you pull in, release, pull in, release, pull in, release. So that's your upper. Main way to get this stronger is doing things like crunches because it really engages that upper part, okay, of your six pack. The next part is your transition. And this one's a little funny. This to me feels a lot more like just pulling everything in towards my spine. But the way I learned how to find it, I learned this from Michelle Sorensen, it was really helpful for me, is by hinging forward in really bad posture. So if you're someone that's got low back pain and forward folding like this doesn't work for you, you can actually do it on the ground or in a chair, but you need to go into bad posture because sometimes I see people do it like this and then you're not going to find what we're looking for. So what you're going to do, you're going to go into slouchy posture, and all of us, no matter what size or shape we are, will end up with some sort of rolls or lines. You're going to select the crease that is right above your navel, your belly button, and you're going to manipulate that crease. So you're going to try pull that crease further in, try push it further out, in, out. And then over time, whether you're standing or sitting, you're going to straighten up and try keep that exact line. So you'll see I'm still being cut in half at that same point. This to me feels a lot more relaxed than the last one. I'll stand up and show you it. Pull in, and as you'll see, again, I'm maintaining that same crease, standing up. So it's kind of like someone's touching you with something cold and you're going, ooh, and you're moving that part of the belly away. So that for me is just the transition point between the upper and the middle, the lower, sorry. Both the upper and the lower are a bit contracted during this, okay? The last one is your lower, and this is often the hardest area for a lot of people. So you want to work on strengthening your transversus abdominis actually for this, but also things like your pelvic floor and just that lower part of the six pack, okay? So again, I would start by pushing the whole belly out, especially for this one, because we often don't get as much of a pull in the lower. So if we're really relaxed here, we won't see so much. So I actively push out my whole belly first. I'm going to keep my hand on the top part to check that it stays pushed out. Now try and just pull in the lower part of the belly. Now when I say lower part of the belly here, I'm thinking below the navel. Release. This is why you need the low waistband. Below the navel in, release. Push it all out. Below the navel in, push it all out. Below the navel in, push it all out. If you're having trouble accessing that area, I actually usually get people to find it with pelvic tucks first. So also you can do this on the ground with your feet flat if you need a little bit less pressure on the back. So you'll soften the knees so that we actually have range of motion in this pelvic tilt. Now, sometimes when we do a pelvic tilt, we might use our glutes to drive it. I often use my abs to drive it, and you can kind of choose between emphasizing it with that middle contraction that we talked about. Remember the cold bit touching your belly, or the lower part. And it looks quite different, right? So I would play with both here. But if you're trying to activate the lower, push the whole belly out again. Make sure this bit stays out. Now try pulling just the part below the belly button as you tilt your pelvis. Release. Tilt. Release. This is kind of like weight training for that muscle. There's a lot of other ways to do strength training for this muscle group as well. But this is usually what I start with because most of our muscles automatically want to join the party when we move, because doing standing isolations is not something we do in everyday life. So this is a good way to go, okay, that's the muscle, and then try and get rid of the tilt again and pull it in. Okay, that's my breakdown. I'm going to go through a quick drill with a song for you to try, okay? So get ready. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're gonna go upper, middle, lower, push everything. So find your starting position. We're soft. We go upper in and middle in and lower in and push everything. So I'm switching upper, middle, lower, hold it, push, hold it, upper, hold it, middle, hold it, lower, hold it, push everything. And again, upper, middle, lower, push. And again, upper, middle, lower, push. A little bit faster. Upper, middle, lower, push. Put your hands on your belly if you need. Lower, push, upper, middle, lower, push. Keep going. Check your posture. Make sure you're not turning into this. And again, upper, middle, lower, push, upper, middle, lower, push, upper, middle, lower, try roll it, upper, middle, it's slow, lower, push, upper, middle, lower, push. So you can also do what I'm doing and put your hands on your low back or your hips to check that you're keeping it muscular for now. Lower, push, upper, middle, lower, push, upper, middle, lower, push. Have a shake. We're going to go reverse. So lower, middle, upper, push. Slow first. Soft knees, neutral pelvis. Remember, we don't want to overstretch. Here we go. Lower, middle, upper, push. I lied to you, I'm kind of fast. Middle, upper, push. Lower in, middle in, upper in, push. Now remember, when you do the lower in, the upper is out and vice versa. Lower, middle, upper, push. Roll it, lower, middle, upper. So it's the reverse direction to before, don't forget. And lower, middle, upper, push, lower, middle, upper, push, lower, middle, upper, push, and again, lower, middle, upper, push. Have a little shake. Okay, so I really like drilling that to lots of different speeds of music. Using something with a really obvious beat is really helpful for this. And like I say, you can do them staccato and rolling. Have fun with it.